That's right, it's time for Victor Allen's New Sports. Written and directed by the bald-headed black man, rub his head and make a wish. The man that the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. Get all hot and bothered, get your jock straps and sport bras. Everybody, it's time for sports. And here's Victor Allen. Yeah. Yeah.
That was pretty good, man.
Thank you.
That was more tame. I appreciate that one. I do. You know, it's kind of hard, man, because, you know, most of the conversation that's happening right now is post-Grammy conversation. It's actually going to, I hate to use this term, trump sports for right now. I hate to use it, but that, you know, it's appropriate. But I have to admit, I was fairly somewhat surprised about how well the Grammys came off in certain aspects, not in total aspects, because I always believe that you should have an injection of the new entertainment. I guess you can say individuals getting recognition. So what I'm going to do is just kind of leave it alone because I can't tie it into the sports here. I was trying to sit back and get some favorite artists in sports and how dedicated they are. So I just want to give props out to the Grammy winners because you guys deserve everything you earned. And Chance the Rapper, nice showing, man. Nice to sit back here and get plugged in like that, man. Congratulations. All right. As I told you before, the word Zen is associated with Phil Jackson. But nobody ever talks about, is there a Zen that trumps, that trumps Phil Jackson's Zen? And I know everybody knows about the story as it relates to what happened last week with Charles Oakley. And I got to learn a little bit more about this owner, James Dolan of the New York Knicks, who right now, basically, they can't get out of their way of what they call pitiful performances and also regulated to what they call these decisions that are made to look so awful. It's almost like he's got his hands on the decisions and it doesn't look good. So to just take you back real quick, for those who don't know, many of you guys do know that Charles Oakley was, I'll say it this way, because they didn't say it this way, was at the game. James Dolan was somewhere, some rows in front of him, and somehow, some way, and I'll bring it back so it makes sense to some of you guys who don't understand it right now, who's the first time you're learning about it. Somehow, a group of security went to say Charles Oakley has to leave. Not one, not two. It was a group, which means it sounds premeditated to me. Two, he got hustled out. Okay, they took him out, escorted him out, eventually handcuffed him. He was arrested. And now the sides are saying what happened. James Dolan gets on his kick to say, let me do my PR spin. When he does his PR spin, he comes on a radio station with a notebook so he could have the proper things to say. That's killing me already. That says he's using that on the radio station. He alleges that Oakley may be an alcoholic and all these other issues, which is one of those things where I said, okay, I'm going to leave that alone. Maybe there's more information to come. What got me, this is where it gets me, where I said the Zen is rolling in. He had witnesses, and all the witnesses were employees of the Garden. But if you look at what happened around Charles Oakley, there's a whole bunch of people around, and not one person came forward and said, this is what Charles Oakley was doing. I saw it for myself. They got quotables for all his employees. So it seems like
what was he arrested for? I'm still trying to understand where the arrest is. I can understand them kicking you out.
Right.
But where does the arrest come from?
Well, see, once, did you see the video? What happened?
I saw the video.
Okay, now, let me say this more. This is the other part. And all I know is that they said he was being somewhat verbally harassing and abusive language and how he was acting, meaning that he didn't do anything but sit in his seat. And I'm going, isn't that like fandom where they talk about and say anything they want to? But there is a history of Charles Oakley having strong opinions against James Dolan. That's not a big issue because that's like every day. No problem. I keep saying the Zen master was on. I think you were set up. And when I say that, I say this. He was waiting for the time to sit back and say, okay, I don't like your opinions. We have a history of you having a strong personal opinion about what's happening here in the organization of the Knicks. And he looked for the opportunity. So what's happened now is that it's elevated to watch James Dolan do this spin. So they're on a 4-game losing streak. They play San Antonio. They upset San Antonio the other day. Guess what James Dolan is? Guess what he goes and get? He go get Bernard King. He go get Latrell Sprewell.
I saw that.
So wait a minute, and they're going like,
into the game.
Right. So wait a minute. Latrell left on not good terms based on the opinion. So what they're saying, he looks so bad.
Well, he didn't look bad. I didn't think he looked bad.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're all getting older and fatter, but he spoke well.
No. I'm not talking about Latrell. They're saying James Dolan going, look.
I didn't see him.
James Dolan sitting, Latrell Sprewell's here, Bernard King's here, and my boy, I can't remember.
I just saw the individual ones where they had Sprewell talk for a couple of minutes.
They were all sitting together.
Yeah, so I saw a different post.
Yes.
Sprewell. So
Yeah.
how was that?
So wait a minute. So this is
Bernard King. You know, both of these guys are kind of rebels because Bernard King, wonderful player who's one of the best of all time.
Right. And I'm missing out on my boy's name who played the commercials, Grandmama. You know, I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's all three of them in a row. What they're saying is it looks so bad that all of a sudden, you guys are all sitting there next to James Dolan as if he says, I get along with former Knicks. The thing that I've learned about as well is these former Knicks were not under your command because you were not in charge of the New York Knicks. So at their time of being players, you weren't around in that capacity at all.
Well, exactly.
So they're saying the spend is so bad that he can't get current players. Not a problem. Now, Mario, what I'm going to is the Zen. Here's the Zen. I'm just saying. First of all, it's either this. You fell for the okey doke Oakley, banned from the Garden, because that's what happened. He got banned. And still it's unclear as to why he's really banned, and there's no proof.
Nothing is clear. I'm still trying to figure out what the arrest was for.
It's one of those things where we're still waiting for the information. For those of you who need to go see the video, it's clear that Charles Oakley gets away with shoving security in a manner that I don't think the average person can get away with. I mean, what he was doing, I was going,
maybe that's what the arrest is for.
Part of that is there. What they're getting at is, what did he do prior to that?
Well, yeah, I think they can throw you out at the owner's discretion.
That's right. And this is why I said...
But then the other stuff is, if you're going to sit behind the owner and talk shit,
right,
he might throw you out.
Absolutely. Which I'm saying...
But then the arrest would have only occurred because Oakley... Now, let me make you say one other thing to me, which is important.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked Charles Oakley. He's an asshole.
They know that.
And a bully.
And
that was the way he was when he played. So when he played, I was almost always rooting against him.
Right.
Fuck Oakley.
Now, wait a minute.
Okay, that's my opinion.
Wait a minute.
Only New Yorkers like him. Only New Yorkers like him. There's nobody else that likes that son of a bitch in the whole world.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so that's my opinion. Sorry to sound so forceful.
But as a player.
I go back there. Fuck Oakley. As a player, I hated him. He cheated. He's dirty.
Wait a minute.
He was an asshole. Only person worse than Mahorn.
He's exhaling.
I couldn't stand Charles Oakley.
No,
dude.
wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
Wait
good.
A minute.
I'm glad they threw your ass out. You dumb piece of shit.
So you don't like him because how he played? That was great.
I don't know if I don't dislike him from close talk and intimate parties.
That was great. Dude, mark this video at this time.
I'm just saying.
At 11.
I just remember him. He was always an asshole. I'm sorry. He's one of those players I love to hate. So don't make me feel sorry for him. I don't care.
Okay.
Throw his ass out.
So you asked.
Out.
So Mario.
Out.
So watch this. The Zen.
What goes around comes around.
The Zen is on.
Right.
That's why I said.
Yeah, what goes around comes around.
Phil Jackson.
One asshole meets another asshole.
Phil Jackson was there, and he tried to calm Charles before the security and all that. As it was going down, he couldn't do anything. James let the billionaire who has control of this bitch
throw him out.
That's all I'm saying.
Hey.
Whether I don't agree that Mario agrees, I don't agree.
Throw him out. He's an asshole.
No, wait.
Who likes Charles Barkley away from New York?
That's wrong.
There's nobody else in the whole world. They don't like him. People don't like him. He's not a likable person. I bet if you go and poll Vic, most people don't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I understand. Well, look. First of all, one thing you always have to understand: the market for the media platform has to gain a return of value, whether you love or hate. And if you love to hate somebody and they get a value, they want to keep you in.
Like I said, only New Yorkers, and don't get me started on that.
Right. So just so you know, the general consensus is that a lot of people are coming to the defense. And here's the other thing. You know, Latrell Sprewell, I believe, one of those two players were actually going to boycott coming to the Garden until they got invited by James Dolan. So they flipped the script.
Yeah,
so they
money
let you know.
Talks and bullshit walks.
Right. The Zen is on. All right. Let's go to the next, man. Next one is the best NBA blowout game of the year I watched. And it was anticlimactic as it relates to, it was obvious that Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors were going to go in and march all over OKC and the Thunder. But what everybody was waiting for was friction there between Durant and actually Westbrook. And when you saw the friction, let me just say this. Yeah. Was you entertained that he brought it like that? Or did you think, well, he's just going to stay and keep distant and not talk? Let me just say, he's not going to talk shit. I'm going to say it that way. I apologize for you guys have a rough time with that.
No, I thought it would be this, even though I don't know that it means much. To me, it's just competitive people going very competitive.
Right.
More of it.
Right.
I'm not saying you don't have a little bit, but I don't think they have a big beef with each other. They're just not best friends, and they're competitive.
And here's the other thing. And I'm just saying this because you're right. They ended up at a restaurant that they always go to after the Oklahoma City Thunder games when they were together. It was called Mahogany. Kevin tried to rent it out totally for the day right after the game about a month ago, and the owner says, I can't do it because I'm loyal to the fans out here. It would have cost about $30,000 to $35,000 to rent it all out. So he said, you still can come with your crew, which Kevin did. Also, the Thunder came with Westbrook, and they sat on opposite sides of the restaurant without speaking to each other. Is this good for the NBA? Even these two teams that may not even make it to the playoffs, they could get in. But will you look forward to the rivalry, or would you just sit back and say, "Oh, that's not an interest to me. I just want to see a better team play on OKC side."
Yeah, all rivalries add to ticket sales,
right?
And the question really is I don't know. It's not really a fair question anyway because you are comparing the two teams.
Right.
And it's just not comparable in that sense.
Right.
The fact that Russell Westbrook is averaging a triple-double.
Right.
Averaging. So makes this incredible. So I think all of that makes for good hype.
True. And here's the part that I got out of it. You're almost ready to turn the channel because the blowout is coming. And it's unfortunate that they only have one player that can really score, competitively against the Warriors. But what he does when he almost scored that 50 on them, says he kept saying this. This is what I loved about what he's doing. He could have talked to any player, Russell Westbrook, could have talked to anyone. But as he continued to score, he turns around and says, I'm coming, which is the part where I said, to me, was one of the most entertaining games of a blowout because I was so fixed on Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, that's just a competitive statement. So that's good. That's not even, some statements are more like at you, more, like attack. That's not an attack at you. That's proclaiming what you feel to be obvious. So.
True. And I'm not saying that this is not like the NBA in the old days. It's just that Russell Westbrook brings so much attention to what he does and what he's carrying. And it's obvious this team is nowhere near to going to the championship as it stands. He's going to have to make some more moves. But that leads me to this other question. Now that we can take it from there, let's talk NBA MVP first half. Right now, first half. The talk is about James Harden and Russell Westbrook. There are many in media who are saying they're going to go with the trend that the team that's winning the most games tend to lean towards that MVP, James Harden. Their numbers are somewhat comparable, although I give the edge to Russell as it relates to triple doubles at a time that nobody's doing it. But Houston's a better team. So if James is doing 29 points a game, 11.3 assists, a little over 8 rebounds. Russell's doing 31.2 points a game, 10.4 2 assists, and 10 rebounds a game. Do you take the tilt with the best team or the one that's producing the most on the team, although they don't have a better record? Where would you go?
No, for me, it's like the most valuable player to that team.
Okay.
To the team, in a sense. So
Right.
I didn't realize they were that close to statistics, but I think I would still have to give it to Westbrook.
Yeah. I'm doing the same. I'm going Westbrook because it just seems right now that he has to do so much, and he's not.
To make that team.
Oh,
right?
man, if they took him off, you take Kevin Durant off of Golden State, they're still going.
And that's always been part of the equation. I mean, to me, some of these are, how has the historical choices been? And historically, it has been part of the consideration how valuable you were
Yes.
to that team.
Yes.
So if you were on a team of superstars,
Right.
even though it wouldn't necessarily mean you didn't get it, it always might weigh a little more for a person who was on a team where they were doing everything for that team.
True.
So for that reason, I kind of go with Westbrook too, even though, like I said, it's closer than I would have ever thought.
And, here's the other thing. If you had to look at who was going to give you the production they did, everybody was surprised about James Harden as it relates to him playing the point guard and then now having over 11 assists a game and leading the league. I can see him actually increasing his assists. I don't think anybody saw Westbrook averaging a triple-double. So I actually go, what's the biggest jump? James, because they said he didn't play defense and he was just more of a shooter, converting to a point guard, or what Russell Westbrook trying to become a point guard. They blamed him for it. Now he's doing a triple-double, something that hasn't done in the big old days. It's one of those things where I sit back and say either one can win, but my tilt is for Westbrook right now. All right, now we get to go pound for pound. Pound for pound. Who is the best NBA player pound for pound based on your observation right now, Mario? Based on
Curry.
Curry?
Yeah.
Wow.
Especially since he's so small.
Okay.
So that means, of course, that question is biased against the big people. It's a question that's inherently biased against people who are big. Because
you could pick Anthony Davis.
Pound, but still because he's so large.
Right.
So I'm saying pound for pound. So little folks inevitably get valued higher. If it wasn't Curry, you'd probably say Westbrook.
Probably say Westbrook. What about if we go to?
Because you said pound for pound.
That's right.
That was your definition.
You're right. I'm using the pound for pound for a reason, because it's easy to go and say, who would you start a team with? And they always say, if you can get a big man that can shoot and go under and give you defense, start with them, because point guards are everywhere, but big men are rare. So if I now take it over and say, if you had to start with a big man, who would you start with?
Oh, LeBron.
LeBron? Okay, got it. Yeah, that's easy. Now let me take it even more. Bigger man, playing power forward to center.
I'd probably go with my man from the Timberwolves, just slightly, because he's just still kind of a beast right now.
And he's still growing.
Yeah, and
he's got energy to burn.
Yeah. And even though I'm down with Anthony, I'm just saying. And this gentleman is something else too. So, but I'm going to go here.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to say, if Anthony,
these are great players.
Yeah, if Anthony stayed healthy, I would lean towards him.
Just because his height, he's taller.
Yes. Yep.
Potential for greater impact.
Absolutely.
As opposed to he's really more a power forward.
So true. And that's all I'm doing is leaning towards
a
it.
big forward, but he can play. I don't know.
Okay. All right. That's not. The choices are limited on big men because you got DeMarcus Cousins out there who's actually the most productive. But everybody knows that what they got, that side, that temperament side. Although he scores, rebounds just as well, and even more, and shoots the threes, but everybody has to deal with his temperament, so you know how that goes. All right, I want to tell you guys that the Hurt Hotel doesn't just belong in football, it also goes to basketball, and we have only one person who deserves to be in the hotel, but he didn't register. Now, Joel Embiid had been out for the last couple of years, and this year he's hitting gangbusters on production at Philadelphia, and recently was confirmed that he has cartilage tear. So that means he's going to miss a few games, but not enough to go to the concert on Friday night and get on stage with Meek Mill, take his shirt off, and start dancing on stage. Mario, is this really about fun, leave me alone? Or is the cartilage tear really not a tear?
Well, it could be a small tear, and he just got poor judgment.
He said he was just having fun. Is he allowed to have fun?
You sure can have fun, but that doesn't mean you don't exacerbate your injury.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't look, and then there's also the impression it gives to people when you do this.
Right.
Even though I don't think they would be faking injury, it basically shows your lack of good judgment.
Absolutely. So. I agree. It does. And let me just say this. I'm not against the idea that if all of a sudden you're out there in the crowd and somebody calls you up on stage. Now, Mario, you being a man of many entertainers, being on the front row, having VIP seats, you've been called up on the stage many times, haven't you?
And I kept my shirt on.
Right. So, given the moment that your back may be, a little tweaking, and Lady Gaga says, Mario, come on up to the stage.
Lady Gaga, I'm coming. Dragging one leg. I'm coming, Gaga.
It's done, right?
I'm coming, baby. Order me some shrimp.
Right, so it's done. See, my point is this. Sometimes you get surprised by things and you go, I'll make it to the stage. Here's the exit out of New Sports, you guys. New York, I know you guys are having a rough time, and the recent NBA rankings came out. You may have it bad, but you actually are ranked above Chicago, D-Wade, Butler, and all those players who's supposed to be more competitive. So is it too much attention going on New York and not enough on Chicago? Because I would be willing to say Chicago's getting a pass because they're ranked actually below New York. And I know, Mario, you're happy because how do you feel about New Yorkers? Thank you. That's all I needed, you guys.
I don't even like their pizza. I don't even like their pizza.
Right, it's done.
Everybody, Victor Allen's New Sports, a recurring segment of the Morning Coffee with Mario show. Every week you can find it here. The unique fan-based view of sports, written and directed by Victor Allen. The good stuff. Come and be part of it every week. You can like it. Remember to dress appropriately. Get your sports bra, your duck strap. Remember we tell you. Yeah. Yeah. All right.